Hello, good morning. I'm Dilip Thakore, editor of EducationWorld.
Good morning. I'm Summiya Yasmeen, managing editor.
In the February issue of this year, we have it's a rather depressing cover story that we've had to write about. It's the dire condition of the world's largest child population.
Yeah.
We hear a lot about the great progress that India is making, but unfortunately, we don't share this optimism because too little attention is being paid to developing the most vital resource of all, that is our human development resource.
Yes.
And this is the focus of our cover story this time.
It's on we'll tell you more about it. It's on the UDISE report, and it's some of its damning statistics about Indian school education. But before that, as usual, what we've got in store in the other sections of the magazine, two, again, very hard-hitting editorials this time. The first one is on the budget we want and the budget we'll get, especially for education. Well, now the budget is out, so look forward for our special report in the March issue, where we dissect and interpret the education budget for you. And the second edit, Dilip, is on something you often talk about high street banking.
Yes, in India, the credit available to private sector, especially small industry, small and medium industries, is just too little. If you read this edit, you'll see that we give very little credit, very little bank credit is available to industry. As a result of that, our growth is low. It's shocking that despite our great economists, we have not found out that India, the total percentage of GDP to bank credit to GDP available in India is only 50% compared to 192% in the US and China. It's quite amazing.
Anyway, we look forward to your response. I mean, both our edits, like I said, are hard-hitting. Please read, engage, discuss with us. And in our education news section from Delhi, we've got, another missive that's come out from the UGC from Dr. Jagdish Kumar. The latest UGC regulations
on how to appoint VCs.
Vice chancellors of state government universities. It's created literally a flutter.
A big row because the state governments have been cut out of this election process.
Completely. The state governments which actually fund the universities have been cut out. So there's going to be a central government representative, a governor, etc. on the committee, but no representation from the state government, which is actually paying the salaries of people employed in state government universities. So that's an interesting education news. And in Karnataka, we talk about the latest ASA survey. The annual status for education report, Pratham's, was recently released in January. And we talk about in Karnataka how Karnataka's learning outcomes of children in their government as well as private schools in rural India are falling, and how it's once.
And this is very surprising for a state which is the IT capital, IT hub of India, and makes big claims about the large number of engineers it's turned up. But if your students at the very bottom are coming out with very poor learning outcomes and they'll ultimately go into college, what's going to happen?
So that's a wake-up call for the state government, the ASA report. And in Maharashtra, our story this time is on dashed RT admissions dreams. So
RTE.
RTE admissions dreams. So it talks about how parents, EWS parents, eager to admit their children under
EWS means economically weaker section parents are finding it very difficult to avail of the provision made in the RTE Act, where 25% of the children in primary school have to be admitted from EWS.
In private schools, in private unaided schools. So we talk about that. That's an interesting story. And in West Bengal, again, Dilip, we talk about the ASA report in West Bengal.
The ASA report looms large in this issue. That is the annual survey, annual
status of education report brought out annually by Pratham, where they analyze, they measure the learning outcomes of children across India.
In rural India.
Yes.
And they actually test them. It's not.
Yes.
And that's what makes for
yeah,
depressing reading.
In reading
not
and
only
math.
Not only in West Bengal, but everywhere else.
Yes. In Tamil Nadu, this is a very interesting story again, where the center has, withdrawn, has issued a circular withdrawing the no detention of
yes,
students
yes.
in, class 5 and 8, whereas in Tamil Nadu, they have refused to implement this. So they are going to have
automatic promotion.
Automatic promotion
no
of
exams,
students.
Right?
Yes, and no exams.
And it's been found since the RT Act was promulgated in 2010, there is this provision of no exams and automatic promotion has created a big problem, because children are graduating from school, as seen in the ACER reports, knowing very little of reading and writing and numeracy. And these children are then going to go into college. I mean,
so the story talks about another confrontation between the DMK state government and the center, because DMK government in Tamil Nadu refuses to,
introduce exams.
No. Yes, it refuses to introduce exams.
And detention. And we are not on the side of the DMK government in this matter.
So again, in education notes, we've got some very interesting from states such as Rajasthan, Odisha, Jharkhand, Goa. We've basically got the whole country covered for you in terms of education news. And we have a special EW focus story on Acadeli, and it's a new AI EdTech startup. So some of the interesting things they're doing, and young achievers as usual to inspiring young motivational achievers. One is a chess prodigy, and the other one has set up a special cooperative for fisher folk in Tamil Nadu. So both very inspiring.
It's quite amazing. This chess prodigy is 4 years of age.
Indeed.
And he's already playing tournaments.
Yes, and it's already got a FID ranking. So that's quite something.
My goodness.
So in our institution profile section, we've this time profiled the Bal Bharati Public School, GRH Marg, Delhi, and the Singapore University of Technology Design, which is a new AI centered university, is offering future ready courses.
Yeah, it's humbling to read this, and it's in fact frightening to read this, how advanced they are in Singapore and relatively compared with our own universities.
Absolutely. And in our expert comment section, Dilip, we've got a very distinguished professor of physics at Ashoka University, Dr. Somak Roy Chaudhary, who's the Vice Chancellor of Ashoka University. He's written a very insightful essay on how we can develop national scientific temper.
Very important, especially in these days when everything is about religion and Kumbh Melas and enormous amounts of money and time is being spent on religious fanfare. It's very important to develop a scientific temper.
No, he makes an excellent argument of how we need to do this in our schools, colleges, and universities. And now coming to our cover story, Dilip, which is on the UDISE, the latest UDISE 2023-2024. UDISE is the Unified District Information System for Education. It gives details on Indian K-12 education data from primary, middle as well as secondary schools regarding infrastructure availability in schools.
District for the 700 districts in India.
So all 1.4 million schools are covered over here. Detailed information on each state, district, etc. Infrastructure facilities available in schools. It's got about teachers, enrollment, teacher-pupil ratio, etc. Everything is covered. So, Dilip, you've written this story. I think you've dissected the full report. Painting quite a dismal picture that we still have a long way to go.
It's a depressing scenario, though the tone of the report is that, a lot of progress has been made. For example, they say that 98% of the schools get drinking water. Well, if 2% don't get it, I think that's very bad. And 97% have a separate girls' toilet, but 3% don't. And in this day and age, to imagine a school without these kind of facilities, and is just shocking.
No, and more so,
it's not how many get it, how many don't get it. That's the way to look at it. And we have talked to several experts. They share our anguish and despair about this situation.
Unfortunately, also, even though we're now moving into the AI age, the availability of computers, internet facilities, shockingly low. Over
electricity.
Half of schools, almost 50% of schools in India still don't have computers or internet facility. That's a shocking underpreparedness for a country that wants to be an education and
which we are told is
digital
going to be
superpower.
Yes.
And also very depressing statistic I thought about enrollment, Dilip, that even though our enrollment in primary school is 100%, when you go to secondary school, it drops to only 63.8%, and higher secondary it's only 45.6%. So 55% of children are dropping out
before higher secondary.
That's quite a shocking statistic, and loss of human resource.
Well, this is because of very poor infrastructure. Because these schools most of the schools in India, government schools especially, are not attractive places for children to go to. Indifferent teaching, Education World was started with the idea of drawing national focus on education, and to have to report this after 25 years is somewhat depressing.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, I think, but it's a very valuable report in terms that it provides hard information for people to, for state governments especially, to assess and to improve upon these parameters.
And also, we have made it contemporary. We're also talking about the annual status education report, which you referred to earlier, 2024, which again shows very poor static learning outcomes in government, rural, not government, in all rural schools.
Yes. Okay, moving ahead, again, very interesting.
People
we've
profiles.
got, go-getting people who are doing excellent work in education, trying to upgrade standards from, pre-primary right up to higher education. So we've got a person who has started a youth well-being, mental well-being platform, internet platform. We've got somebody who's got an excellent ERP software, and then someone who's gone into the higher education space and offering project management. So again, very interesting people over there.
But unfortunately, though we report on several of these people, we need many multiples of such go-getting edupreneurs who will, because given our huge 500 million children in youth population.
And of course, our very unique international news section, which I think we're the only education magazine, which has an international news section.
Most people in India don't know jack about what's happening in universities and institutions, schools abroad.
So again, very informative news from what's happening in the US. The Trump executive orders are not only restricted to immigration, they've also in education. So there's a visa cloud. Possibility that Department of Education may be shut down in the US. So we've got everything covered. There's a new story on South Korea, how universities are raising fees.
Private universities are raising fees.
Yes, and VAT blow to private schools in the United Kingdom, and a story on Malaysia, etc. So very interesting
in the United
stuff.
Kingdom, a lot of schools are in danger of shutting down
private
because
schools.
of a value-added tax being
imposed upon
private
them.
education.
And in our teacher to teacher section, I think another very insightful essay, Dilip, on how to develop computational thinking skills in children.
Yes, it's not now. The day is gone when you can do some rote learning, learn the alphabet. You've got to start, as we keep on emphasizing in Education World, you've got to now start on how to create new knowledge, and real knowledge application skills, which India is pretty backward on.
And then in our special report, we've got the EW Grand Jury India Preschool Rankings. Again, these are different from our normal India preschool rankings, which are based on market and a field survey. The Education World India preschool rankings are jury based. Yes, we invite nominations from preschool. So we received over 600 nominations, and a jury comprising Fatima Agarkar, Kausar Saeed, Dr. Malti, Sumati Ravichandran, all experts in early childhood education, evaluated these preschools and ranked India's top 10 preschools across categories.
Which are not
distinct,
in our other rankings.
So these categories include teacher, parent, student engagement, campus design, innovative pedagogy, health, nutrition and safety, nature-friendly preschools, etc. So we've got all the tables in there. Please check if you've applied and if your school is ranked within the top 10.
Yeah, and we would appreciate some appreciation for the amount of work we've done for early childhood education.
Yes.
It is a totally neglected subject until Education World arrived on the scene. And it's because of that, I believe, that it's been given quite high primacy in the National Education Policy 2020.
Indeed.
So we are not only proud of that, we are also proud of sustaining our
advocacy
of early childhood education.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, right now it's focused on private education, but we want the Anganwadis, the 1.4 million Anganwadis promoted by the central government and supported by the state government. Even they should rise to the standard of private preschools.
Indeed. So we have a very interesting interview also, Dilip, with Tina Vachani, who's the co-founder of Roots to Roots, which is an NGO focused on digital learning of Indian art and culture.
Yes, the dissemination and of Indian art and culture around the world.
Yes,
and they do it online.
Yes,
and
indeed.
They report quite a lot of interest and success in that.
And in our book review section, interesting book review, The Smart and the Dumb, The Politics of Education in India. It's focuses mostly on the purpose of education. It reflects on what it should be and shouldn't be. And postscript, as usual, Dilip, your favorite page.
Dr. Manmohan Singh, according to us, was not the architect of the 1991 liberalization, deregulations, popularly believed. Although it's not nice to speak of the dearly departed, but we have to tell the truth as we see it. And some other somewhat self-congratulatory, but nevertheless depressing postscripts.
Yes. So that's Education World February issue for you. But before we go, as usual, what we've got in store in Parents World for you. Parents World, very timely story. Social media addiction, new pandemic sweeping young India.
Yes.
So we've written this story against the backdrop of Australia becoming the first country to ban social media use by children under 16 years. India also has come up with its data protection rules, where it doesn't go the whole hog and ban social media, but it says that children under 18 years need parental consent before opening a social media accounts.
Well, I don't know how successful that's going to prove, but it's very depressing how people's minds are being stolen by endless reels and photographs and messages, and I'm sure it's going to have some adverse
children and adults, Dilip, we all are.
Yes, indeed.
All stolen focus, as it were.
Yes, that's the
of
downside.
An entire generation.
That's the downside of the new
digital mobile phone
revolution.
Anyway, that's Parents World and Education World for you. We look forward to hearing from you all.
Yes,
indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.